So in this question, we're asked to compare these quantities, and we have this relationship inequality in terms of absolute value. Now, some cases you might be able to deduce this condition with the quantities given here, and I think you do want to look in that direction first, but I don't see any way of seeing the equivalence here. So in that case, I would go into selecting numbers. So for example, I might start with a equal to 5, and I have to pick numbers that satisfy this condition to begin with. So b could be, for example, 0, and there's no constraint on whether it's positive or negative. So you'll notice that this pair that I've selected does indeed satisfy the inequality, and that needs to be the case before you can even go into comparing the quantities. So 3 is greater than 2, so that works, which means this pair is acceptable. Then I'm going to plug these values into column A and column B. Column A would be 7, and B would be -2. In this case, column A is greater. Now my goal is if I can come up with another pair that satisfies this inequality where this would flip, meaning column B would become greater. So now I have to think about in terms of maybe I want to make a negative number. So for example, A is -5. So in this case, column A is -3. Now I have to also pick a suitable value of B. So I'll plug in -5, so it's -5 minus 2. So that's 7. So I have to pick B in a way that it satisfies this inequality. And for example, if I pick B to be, say, 3, because that would be 7 is greater than absolute value of 5, which is true. And then when I plug into column B, 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1 is indeed greater than -3. So now column B is greater. So with two examples, I've shown that we cannot determine the relationship, and that's, of course, is the fastest way if it happens to be D. Because if this problem, somehow column A was greater, let's say, then my examples would have given me the outcome to be that both column A in both cases is greater. So then in that case, I would have to think of a more general approach, which likely would be there. But in cases where there is no clean way to take the information in the main stem and make conclusions about these quantities, often you just have to use examples. So in summary, in this case, the relationship cannot be determined. The answer is D.